Today I have to show you my corset junk journal. And I really wanted to try this method of decorating the cover with a corset jacket that you put over top of your cover of your journal. So I watched the Bohemian crafting lady, Eva, and she is amazing. She's so very talented. And then I got the idea to do the rest of the theme just around a corset. So I was actually waiting for supplies to come in for the previous journal that I was making, and I just kind of threw this together, and I thought, well, I really want to learn how to do the corset spine. I've done it before, but I've just used lace and then threaded the ribbon up the lace. But this is actually separate pieces. And the difficult thing about this for me was instead of using paper, I used fabric. Outside, inside, and for this cover. But the fabric that I chose to make the actual corset jacket was upholstery fabric. So it kind of frayed and split when I was doing punching the holes for the eyelets. But it worked out just fine. I just took my time and I was very pleased with it. And at the time of filming, I still haven't decided if I'm going to use my vintage lace to cover up this beautiful brocade fabric. It's silk brocade. It's absolutely beautiful to touch. It's wonderful. Or if I'm going to leave it plain. I have to do this video today when the house is fairly quiet. So by the time I post this video, I will have decided what I went with. And the other option is to just take the lace off. So there you go. I just got a piece of chipboard, painted it, did gesso, black gesso first, and then a beautiful shade of red, Prima metallic paint, and threaded some 1/8 inch satin ribbon through it. It was the only thing I had to go out and buy because I didn't have the right ribbon. Everything else I had on hand. I didn't use, I didn't order or use anything additional. No digitals used in this journal. It's all just scrapbook paper and supplies that I had already made or handy. So we've got, now the dimensions of this one are 7 3/4 inches by 5 5/8 with a 2 1/4 inch spine. And then the corset jacket is just a little bit smaller. It's 7 3/8 by 5 1/4 inches. And I used a 1 1/2 inch spine. You want to make it narrower than the actual spine so that you can see the corset ties through there. And I do love the monochromatic look, so I just used sort of a beigey gold taupey color, tan. And on the bottom, I've got beads, and I went with gold and a little bit of red, burgundy, black, pearls, and Swarovski crystals. Just gorgeous. And I wanted to use a strong contrast for the closure, so I used my kind of burgundy red silk ties, and I just glued them underneath between the jacket and the cover. So inside is some more fabric. I just lined it with fabric. And I have to say, this beautiful piece comes from Sheila Gingrich at Boho Daydreams. I really was holding out using it for a cover, but it just wasn't working. And as soon as I looked at the colors of this one and the inside pocket, I just thought that really did it justice. So I'm very pleased with it. And I've just got these little mini file folders inside for tucking in extra things. So not very elaborate. Like I said, no digitals, not any heavy embellishing, certainly not every page, a lot of stamping. And I don't think I did any stenciling in this one, but it was just a quick project, and I'm very pleased with the results. For coordinating paper collection, I used Graphic 45's Portrait of a Lady, because I love the expressions. So here we've got a sweet little journaling card in the front, and I just made a little pocket. Lots of different heights of pages. That's what I did to create interest. lots of flaps. 176 pages and flaps. So each signature has like 22 pages, and then you times that by 4, gives you the number of pages. Page sides, real estate pages. So here, sometimes when you tea dye, I've tea dyed everything, by the way, the edges get really, I don't know, ripped or kind of just wrinkly and worn. So some of them I just reinforced either with washi tape or with some book page. So I do have some lovely corset stamps, and I got to use them all in here. This paper, I think it's the, oh, I can't remember which one. It's from the Paper Studio. I will put it in the comments. And what I did here was included a definition of the corset. I will read it to you. It says, what does the corset symbolize? It has evolved aesthetically and symbolically from underwear to outerwear in late 19th century ball gowns, from corsets to bustiers, from constriction to power, from lingerie to armor. The corset expresses contradictory messages: constriction and freedom, dominance and submission, femininity and power. Well, I chose to go with femininity, hence Portrait of a Lady. So there's actually, this is a triple pocket with this craft colored glassine bag, but I didn't want to stuff it full of everything. So there's a pocket right here. 1, 2, 3. So you can add more to it as you go. I did use the Floral Fashionista collection from Heartfelt Creations. I did a lot of the stamping with those and die cutting. They have the coordinating die cuts. And I used words again in this one. And then just cut them out and add them to the page. This one says fashion. And that's the way I've seen always looked at a corset, as more of a fashion. Because all 3 of my daughters actually ended up getting a corset incorporated into their senior ball outfits. We had a dress designer that we knew in Vancouver, British Columbia, April, and she makes the most incredible outfits. A lot of them are even like medieval costume types. And so each of my daughters chose something different when their turn came to graduate, and they all have those treasures to keep. And as you know, a corset is adjustable, so you can wear that for a long time as your body may change its shape, which is awesome. And they've got the boning in them, so it helps with your posture. All those little tidbits. That was a little side story there. This journal actually is very top heavy. Usually we have so much in the bottom half with our pockets and everything, and I wanted to try something different. So my feature for this journal was to make 12 of these little tags. As the only sewing that I did apart from the cover was to just stitch across the lace trim at the tops and add these vintage lace embroidered appliques, I guess you could call them. So there's 12 tags, and this one says cute as a button. It's a young girl. Some book page on the back, parchment paper, and then I've stamped it. I've got those Simplicity fashion stamps, which are so cool. And then this time I chose not to tea dye the journaling cards that I used, just for white to keep it as a contrast. And then I've got a stamp, a frame stamp. It's a set of 3 different sizes, and these are the 2 smallest ones, so you'll see that used quite a bit too. And some sheet music. And I'll go through it fairly quickly. Just some stamping everywhere. This one says Simplicity Vintage. Main colors are probably beigey, taupey, a little bit of red. A vintage perfume bottle. This one says, let your beautiful soul shine. And I do have the Dilutions Diane Reveley Haute Couture collection in the minis and the large. This set I used was the minis. And it's sort of the body piece, and then you've got your separate accessories like hats and stuff. So I just doodled a little face in there and some hair. Very amateur. And there's another corset from the Heartfelt Creations collection, and a little tag. I just used it as a tuck. I like to do that. And I've got some crinkled seam binding in this sort of a beigey rose gold, sort of tattered rose color, soft. And this sheet here says Lady's Diary, this page. And I just made an envelope out of some scrapbook paper and a journaling card that says Vintage Style. Just tried to pick coordinating colors. It was quick and easy. I made this in a couple of days while I was waiting to be able to finish my other one. I did find some nice treasures at the vintage market last month. I've got a big volume of Shakespeare and Emily Dickinson poetry. Dickinson? Yeah. Emily Dickinson. So I did use those in this journal. This is from a bag, just a shopping bag. And I love that craft texture. It is quite thin, but I still love to use it because I think it really looks vintage and authentic. This page features a sewing machine, and the quote that I put is, "We make a perfect fit." The lace-edged border punch again with some of the seam binding lace through it. The stamp says, "A woman can be overdressed, but never over-elegant," and that's Chanel. This tag says, "Handmade is best." Got a corset stamped on the back. A couple of stickers. This one has a bird on it. And there's a graphic 45 lady stamp, a rose stamp. This quote says, "Style me vintage." As you know, my logo is Vintage Elegance Inspiration. For that reason, I do love it. These I have made up a whole pile of these just on cream colored cardstock, done some script stamping on there, inked the edges, and they're ready to go. I've got a few laser cut images in here that I got from Want to Scrap. I've had for a long time. Some beautiful shoe stamps that I have. This one says Vintage Style, little doily, tea-dyed doily in there. And a couple of page flaps with shoes on them. That one says, "Happiness is a new pair of fabulous shoes that can lift your soul." And a beautiful high-cut black kid boot stamp. Here I just used part of the paper to make a pocket and one of the graphic 45 small journaling cards. Center of the first signature. Let you have a look at these dangles. I thought pearls and crystal was very appropriate with the gold. And then just these journal cards from Graphic 45's Portrait of a Lady. The images and the colors were perfect. And I have so much of this. All I used was scraps. I didn't even open a new paper pack or anything. I just used my bag of scraps. Nice scraps, I know, but they're so beautiful. That's when they come in handy when you want to do a quick project. Stamp of a purse, and this one says Très Chic. Another vintage style tag, and the script tag with a little tea-dyed doily. Very simple, unadorned stamping. Lots and lots of space for journaling. There's another fashion stamp that I have. Had these for a long time. Her name is Coquette, which means flirt. And here is a beautiful stamp. You can still get this one. It is just a beautiful dress. And another corset die cut that I made with a little journaling card that says buttons, fancy buttons. And it says elegance. This lady's sentiment says vintage elegance. So beautiful. and stamped on the back. Simplicity Vintage, another little journaling card. This young, beautiful girl. And another Fashion Couture stamp. And I've just done the paper punch lace edge with the seam binding. And I used the images here just to make a side tuck. Another large journaling card from Graphic 45 on the wrapping paper. Some more Shakespeare. Actually, this one is Emily Dickinson. Emily Dickinson. And this tag says Vintage Finds. Stamped with these ladies on the back. And another journaling card. This pocket says, Elegance is when the inside is as beautiful as the outside by Coco Chanel. I think I've used that quote a couple times in the book here. Just some border edge stamping. And I've done another mannequin silhouette with a corset piece stamped and die cut to the side and a side tuck. Elegance is beauty that never fades. And a pocket, a little journaling card. This is Graphic 45, this stamp set. Just so feminine. I love it. And what a beautiful bird. So I think I used about 20 sheets of paper. That's it for this project. Here's another one of the laser cuts. And a fleur-de-lis stamp. And this image. My stamp from Prima as a journaling card. And another beautiful dress. I've used this card, or this stamp, for about 25 years, probably made so many shower and wedding cards with it. It's been very useful. Just never goes out of style. And on to the second signature. Just got a little pocket here with a tall tag and a tab at the top. And we've got a beautiful purple corset here. Vintage style tag and the script tag done on cardstock. This little pocket says Style Vintage, finest quality brand. Beautiful image. Believe in yourself. And this says Femme. It's actually 3 stamps on that one. Border edge, wrapping paper, a quote by Chanel, and another glassine bag, triple pocket, with some of this Tim Holtz paper. Sometimes they just fit so perfect with what you're doing. Love it. Also used his washi tape in this one. There's my stamp lady, vintage style. Another stamped lady, some music paper with washi tape. And another corset that I've stamped and die cut. This tag says Style Me Vintage. Simplicity lady on the back. Pattern, simplicity pattern. Shoes. I love shoes. I love shoes. I love purses. I love clothes. I love jewelry. I love makeup, perfume, all of that. All those feminine, romantic things. And another shoe stamp. Another Emily Dickinson poetry page. Laser cut. And I did some full page stamping because this is called Vintage Closet. This stamp is by Heartfelt Creations. And that dress, a lady, some stickers, fleur-de-lis, beauty. You can take simple paper and just make it look lovely. Journaling tag. Beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself. And I just used this tall, slim image to make a side tuck. The lace-edged border punch. If the shoe fits, buy one in every color. And that goes for craft supplies too, right? This is Shakespeare. I use some of the images to just make a little side pocket here. Hello, beautiful. I rounded the corners in this book, this journal. Stamping there, border, side border stamping. Center of the second signature, I've got this image, large journaling card. And on this side, we've got another one of these vintage style crocheted tags with a script tag. Very simple pages. And again, the beaded dangles. A corset, graphic 45 stamp, Shakespeare. This quote I love too. I've had this stamp for years. Remember, Ginger Rogers did everything Fred Astaire did, but she did it backwards and in high heels. So true. Amazing. Remarkable. It's another one of my couture stamps. This one says feminine. It's got 2 of the journaling blocks on it and a small journaling card. And the border pictures frames I just used as a side tuck. This one says homespun quality, stamped on the back, and this beautiful image, large journaling tag. Beautiful mannequin and a Paris stamp, couture, natural beauty stamp, the fancy dress, and another collage. This one actually, the stamps up here says thinking of you, but I masked that off because I didn't think I needed to have that there. I mainly wanted to focus on the boots and the dress. Here's another beautiful green corset. Emily Dickinson poetry, and an envelope says vintage elegance. And I've just got some tea-dyed note paper, lined note paper, and stamped the word Paris on the top. And we got to throw a dude in here, so I stamped him with his hat. But we will cover him up just a little. Music paper, just regular scrapbook paper that I've turned into an envelope. We make a perfect fit. Stamped with a corset on the back. That's graphic 45 as well. And this lovely corset stamp and die cut. Quality buttons. Tea-dyed music paper. Here we've got a pocket. It's a triple pocket. So you've got 1, 2, and 3. Little journaling card with one of the tabs on the side. Lots of journaling space. And coming towards the end now, this one says Love is Beauty. These are from Prima. I think it's the debutante little small journaling cards that I've got in a pack. And a key stamp there. Beautiful bicycles. Another laser cut mannequin. And a shoe stamp. And here we've got a mannequin, and I've just put Style Vintage on the side. And a small journaling card with the high kid boot. Homespun quality, sewing, seamstress, designing your own clothes. All of that is just so fascinating. And a beautiful large journaling card. And a pocket that says, beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself. A small journaling card. And one more stamped tag with the corset, Prima corset. And my logo on the back, which is Vintage Elegance Inspiration. And just a simple, very simple lace pocket and another mini file folder. tuck away your notes. So this was really easy to make, and I think it's just lovely. Very pleased with the outcome. And I do thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you're inspired to try to make something beautiful out of simple things. Have a great day.